You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Sunday afternoons mean a lot of things. For me, it means sitting at SailGP HQ. For James McOnie, it means talking to me from wherever he is. Where are you, mate? Where do we find you?
I'm back in Great White Shark Country. I'm back in Carfia and in a garage. Lovely day down here. So people who don't know where Carfia is, if you think of Raglan, and then there's another harbour south of that, Aotea Harbour, and then south of that is Carfia Harbour. So I'm here multitasking, trying to tidy up a property, but also on the lookout for the Maricopa Dad. So, doing a bit of everything.
Bit of amateur sleuthing.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, let's talk some sport and some sportainment, as it's been called. The Black Clash, another success last night in Christchurch?
I think so. I mean, look, you just see it was a good time, wasn't it? And a great contest. So, look, it's like everything, it's got its flaws, but I think there's so much to like about having good old-fashioned entertainment. When I was young, I remember watching, I think it was kind of like a Clash of the Codes, or they called it Superstars, with Peter Snell in the velodrome and things like that. And yeah, he wasn't perfect riding a bike, but very watchable TV. So it's almost like we've gone back to the future, and with Chris Gale, the universe boss, playing, that's instant star power, a huge amount of entertainment seeing him out there, and plenty of cricketers, rugby players looking like they're not too bad at cricket. And I must give a shout out to my Sky Sport buddy Joe Wheeler with the ball, not too bad bowling, and then Andy Ellis with the bat as well. I can't remember, there was someone else. Oh, Leon McDonald as well, getting a half cut.
Yeah, it's interesting how many rugby players, and I think it's probably common, not just at the elite level, but the number of top rugby players who also played a bit of cricket growing up and were pretty good at it. Kieran Reid was I know in Black Clash's past, he's got pots of runs. I know, Will Jordan's a handy cricketer. They love it. Izzy Dagg was a 150k bowler.
Yeah, he was part of the Brendan Bracewell bowling camps, the fast bowling camps back in the day, wasn't he?
That's right.
And so the cricket's so intertwined in our DNA. And look, I mean, it's kind of, this will be for not just New Zealand cricket, but also New Zealand rugby and all major sports or minor sports, going back to the drawing board and thinking, how do we get this kind of buzz? Even, for example, athletics. I remember, there was the Molenbeek Mile Series and the Pan Am Games and all these things that happened where people were talking about it, and you get famous athletes. Don Quirey from Jamaica came over, and even in recent years, I think Donovan Bailey came and ran here, and Carl Lewis in exhibition events. So this is what, if you want to get crowds in, if you want to have a good time, and of course having the ACC involved, which is the Alternative Commentary Collective, and I'm biased because I'm part of that, but I think they make it a great occasion. Absolutely
right. I remember that Clash of the Codes. I remember they got obviously sports people from a bunch of different sports together, and they had to try other sports. I remember Bruce Kendall, the board sailor. They had the Queen Street Mile, and you probably don't remember this, but he sprinted out from the top, and he was leading by miles, and then he just ran out of gas. He got overtaken by everybody. So
do you find that, I remember thinking that, because that was the modern version of Clash of the Codes, conveniently organised by Ian Ferguson and Paul McDonald, and somehow the kayakers and the canoers and rowers team, a lot of the events seemed to suit their skill set, so somehow they end up in the final. And then, poor old Bruce Kendall was, I remember one time they did tow a Kenworth truck on a runway, and I think that, again, little Bruce Kendall struggling.
That's right. Let's talk other sport. A-League, Auckland FC back to winning ways. A surprise loss against Perth Glory last weekend. A 3-0 win over the previously top-of-the-table Melbourne City yesterday. All the goals coming at the end of the first half, but good to see Auckland FC showing some bounce-back ability.
Yeah, I know. And the way they actually set up the formations seemed to me like they've actually taken a leaf out of Nottingham Forest's book with a pure number 9 in Chris Wood. So Max Mata was up the front, got a yellow card, throwing himself around, scored a goal, kind of had a hand in another. I think that really they needed to be more direct, and it's all about shots on target for me, Piney, and I think in the first half they had 7. That must be a club record since I've only been going a few months. So I'm putting it out there that it's a club record, but that's what I needed to see from Auckland FC. If they were going to be contenders, they just need to shoot more and shoot accurately.
Yep, indeed. Wellington Phoenix, on the other hand, going through some struggles, although they did pick up a point against Sydney FC in their last game, off to face Macarthur tomorrow night. Does this feel like a top 6 side to you?
Well, currently no, but they're missing so much talent. I think Marco Rojas hasn't been there. I think Alex Roof has been in and out. Barbarouses has been pretty consistently on the field, but then when you look at how many sort of newbies and teenagers, and that is really the key to the A-League, is having young junior players ready to step up. But I do feel sorry for them. I think maybe getting rid of David Ball isn't a bad idea. You need to get some fresh legs in there, and he's been a great servant for the club, but I can't remember him scoring a goal, and I think he was extremely unlucky at Eden Park. And I just looked at him and just thought, that just sums up poor old David Ball. It's not going to be, he's in the twilight of his career and the ball just doesn't seem to be bouncing his way. So they need something, Piney. And for you as a commentator, I feel like you're like one of those actors that goes from the happy scene to the sad scene, like Master of the House and Les Mis to, I Dreamed a Dream sort of thing.
Yes. Look, I'd never thought of it in those terms, but I will from now on. That's what I was going to say. I'll give it my Jean Valjean, but I don't think he was involved in either of those two songs. So maybe we should move on. The Aussie Open. You watching the Aussie Open?
Yeah, I have been, and I still maintain that it's really Djokovic who can, add to his titles. The only 3 players that really can beat him are Sinner, Alcaraz, and old. It might actually just be those 2, really, when I think about it. There are some who are looking okay, but it's not really the same talent pool as we've known in the past. And on the women's side, at least, Coco Gauff seems to be hitting the ball really nicely, although she plays at 3 o'clock, so it could it might date very poorly, because you just don't know with the Aussie Open and who's looking good, because by the time you're in the 4th round, you're actually in good form, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah. Look, I was astounded to see that Novak Djokovic was only the 7th seed. I know it's based on a lot more than just who you think's going to win the thing, but I think he's still got the chance to win it. Sinner feels like the man, Alcaraz as well. Zverev, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him. I don't think I've ever had a seeded player like Zverev who just gets so little press. I don't think they're even putting him on the main courts until the 2nd week, and he's the 2nd seed.
Yeah, and I mean, he is a threat. I mean, Alex de Minaur is a threat. There's all these other players who you'd say, yeah, talent-wise, they've got something. But I think isolating, Sinner, the drugs cheat, supposed, alleged drugs cheat. Alcaraz, 21 years old, just a freak. And then old man Djokovic in his mid-30s. I think it's between those 3.
Indeed. And just to finish, we're now able to vote for the sporting moment of 2024, and given the fact that there was an Olympic Games last year with a lot of success for New Zealand and a Paralympics as well, there are a number of moments that are Olympic ones. Have you had a look at the lineup, and have you got an early contender for which one you think we might all choose?
This is harder to pick than a broken nose, as they say, in the 12th man. It's just impossible. And you know what? Dame Lisa Carrington didn't even make the list.
No.
So this is, I don't know how the list was compiled. I'm not a judge anymore, but I do look at the sporting moments, and 2024 was amazing. And even just looking at the top one, Anna Grimaldi, when she won that 200 metres in the Paralympics, that was an incredible moment. So, you kick off with that, and of course there's Dame Lydia Ko, there's Hamish Kerr, really, really tough. And in terms of pure moments of emotion, the White Ferns winning their T20 World Cup, and then the Black Caps are in there as well. So I think you can go and have a look on halberg.org.nz, I think, for the full list. And it's worth voting, because I think that you want it to be a pure New Zealand vote rather than just block voting of sports. But I mean, there's 2 cricket events in there, so that is a big popular sport. So if you love your athletics or your golf or whatever, you've got to go in there and vote.
Absolutely right. Always good to chat, James. Let's do it again next Sunday if you've got time in amongst all of your other amateur sleuthing and such like.
Yeah, no, I'll let you know. Actually, there's some people thought that you might look a bit like the Maricopa Dad, but I did inform you've just got a slightly smaller head judging by that photo.
And probably slightly big around the waist as well, given the fact he's been eating berries for 2 years. But we probably digress. Thanks, James. James McOnie, big part of our Sundays, joins us about this time every Sunday.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.